Welcome to the Deep Dive Protocol. I'm your host, Poet Woods. Now, you may have seen my strategies featured on NBC, CBS, and Fox News. But today, we're going deeper than sound bites. As a certified knowledge broker and transformational strategist, I know that success is 80% psychology. But as a Google certified AI performance specialist and an AI generalist, I also know that without the right systems, mindset is just a dream. My mission is to fuse these two worlds. In this episode, I've commissioned my AI intelligence team to deconstruct the code of the top 1%. We're stripping away the noise to reveal the real architecture of success. This isn't just a podcast. It's a reprogramming session. Get ready, because now it's time to think with an entrepreneur's mind. The protocol begins now.
Okay, let's unpack this. We all know we should eat better, exercise more, and definitely not hit the snooze button for the third time. Yet we do it anyway. That gap, that really frustrating distance between knowing what to do and actually doing it, that's the whole problem we're diving into today.
It really is.
We're looking at this novel methodology that treats music not as entertainment, but as psychological software. It's like precision-engineered code designed to upgrade your brain's operating system for high performance.
And that's so necessary.
This whole deep dive is centered around that enduring paradox of entrepreneurship. I mean, conscious knowledge, the spreadsheets, the strategies, the marketing blueprints, it's never been more accessible. You can learn finance on YouTube.
Right. It's everywhere.
Yet the failure rate for new ventures remains just stubbornly, frustratingly high.
And the sources we're analyzing, they point directly to why that gap exists. It's an issue of internal programming. Cognitive science confirms that the conscious mind, the part that handles all that great strategy and logic, it governs only about 5% of our function.
Only 5%?
Yeah, the vast majority, we're talking up to 95%, is run by the subconscious mind. That's what's controlling habits, emotional reactions, and those deeply held beliefs about, worthiness and scarcity.
So if your conscious mind is saying, I want to build $1 billion company, but your subconscious is running a program of deep-seated fear,
that subconscious program wins.
It wins every time. It's like this constant battle where logic consistently loses to that deeply wired emotion.
That's the critical friction point. And this is why so many traditional consulting methods, which are so heavy on logical, talk-based teaching, they often fail. They run headfirst into what psychology calls the critical factor.
Critical factor.
Yeah, think of it as your brain's high-security spam filter. If new information, say a great piece of business advice, doesn't already match your existing beliefs, that gatekeeper just rejects it instantly.
Wow. So it doesn't even get filed into long-term memory.
Not even a chance.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So if my core belief is I'm not worthy of success, then that beautifully written business plan is it's automatically deleted by the internal spam filter.
Exactly. It's about preserving the existing identity, even if that identity is limiting you.
So if direct logical instruction is constantly being blocked, how do you get past the gate? And that brings us to the ETEC methodology, developed by Poet Woods. ETEC is this framework that aims to skip that conscious bottleneck completely, using music. They call it NLP-infused music, and they refer to it as Sonicceuticals, a therapeutic sound intervention designed to deliver new code straight to the subconscious.
Right.
So our mission today is to explore the structure, the science, from neurology all the way to quantum, and then how specific tracks actually work as prescriptive tools.
And what's genuinely clever about ETEC is how it approaches learning. Let's break down the acronym. That's really the structure of the whole methodology.
Right.
The first E stands for edutainment. This is the engagement piece. See, traditional learning requires metabolic energy. It's actual work. But music is abstractly rewarding. The sources show that listening to music you enjoy triggers a measurable release of dopamine.
The mesolimbic pathway.
That's the one. So ETEC essentially hijacks this natural reward system. By embedding complex business lessons into the music, they create this positive feedback loop. Learning starts to equal pleasure. Your brain literally starts to crave the information because it's bundled with a sonic reward.
So it's not just about making learning fun. They're literally conditioning the brain to want the strategic knowledge. That's a powerful incentive.
Precisely. Next, the T is for transformational. This is where the NLP The neuro-linguistic programming and specific hypnotic language patterns come into play. The goal here is to induce neuroplasticity. The creator, Poet Woods, he's certified in transformational hypnosis from the Christopher Howard Training Institute.
So there's a clinical basis there.
Yes, it confirms the clinical basis for using these lyrical structures, the modulations, the phrasing, to intentionally reprogram the subconscious.
Then the E is entrepreneurial, which is the content-focused tracks about wealth, risk, scarcity, execution, all tailored to the very specific challenges of business founders.
Right. And finally, the C is consulting coaching, which is about applying these Sonicceuticals inside a structured guidance framework.
Okay, so what's the core mechanic that makes all of this work?
Well, the underlying mechanic is that the music acts as a Trojan horse. When we listen to music, the sound doesn't just go to our cognitive center. It processes simultaneously through our emotional centers, the limbic system, and the motor centers of the brain. And by engaging those deep, non-cognitive regions, the music bypasses the logic-based critical factor entirely.
And that allows the core programming, the NLP commands, to be deposited directly into long-term memory.
Exactly.
That sounds almost too efficient, though.
Mm-hmm.
Are we suggesting that just listening to a track is the same as weeks of traditional coaching?
The sources suggest that for certain types of change, like shifting core beliefs around identity and capability, it can be far more efficient because it avoids all that conscious resistance. And if we look at the authority behind this, Poet Woods is also a certified knowledge broker under Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi.
Right, the KBB program. So he understands how to strategically structure and package high-impact information. He's combining the art with the science of influence.
Absolutely. And the production quality is a huge part of this. It has to be effective. The tracks are all high fidelity, produced by industry veteran Wade Martin. The guy sold over 100 million records producing for artists like Britney Spears and DMX.
Wow.
And Martin actually dubbed Poet Woods the world's first hybrid MC because he can both sing with melodic resonance and rap with this rhythmic precision.
And that hybrid delivery, that isn't just a gimmick, is it? It's integral to the method. It engages both hemispheres of the brain, which sets the stage for that neurobiological bypass we were just talking about.
Exactly. The melody hits the right hemisphere, the lyrics and the rhythm hit the left. That dual stimulation is the key. It's what overloads the critical factor.
Okay, so we've established the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. If the conscious mind is the gatekeeper, what's the acoustic trick that sound uses to get past it?
So this is where the sources dive straight into whole brain activation and hemispheric synchronization. Think of your brain like a bank vault. To open it, you need two keys turn at the same time. By engaging both the melodic right side brain and the linguistic left side brain at once, it demands so much cognitive energy.
That the gatekeeper, the critical factor, is overwhelmed and just temporarily suspended.
It's distracted. And while it's distracted, the NLP commands are slipped right through. ETEC calls this process superliminal priming, using the music as a mask for that critical faculty.
And we're sort of hardwired for this to work, aren't we?
We are. We leverage a natural human advantage. Research from scientists like Dr. Eric Jarvis identifies humans as vocal learners. Unlike most animals, we learn complex skills through vocal communication. And because song involves such profound modulation of pitch and emotion, the brain interprets truths delivered via song with a much higher degree of emotional trust than from a dry lecture.
It's just a more trustworthy signal to our brain.
A much more trustworthy signal.
And this is where it gets truly fascinating for me, linking rhythm directly to physical action. The Auditory-Motor Gateway. Dr. Andrew Huberman's work highlights that auditory stimuli, especially rhythm, they bypass conscious control and stimulate the premotor cortex and cerebellum directly.
It's why you can't help it.
Right. It's why you automatically start tapping your foot or nodding your head when a beat drops. It's not even a conscious choice.
That involuntary response is called auditory driving. Your internal biological rhythms, your heart rate, your breathing, they synchronize or entrain with the external beat. It's an active physiological synchronization. It's not just passive listening.
And ETEC manipulates this mechanism with what they call tempo-specific programming, adjusting the beats per minute, the BPM, to get predictable states.
Exactly. For instance, if the goal is maximum execution drive, just pure sympathetic hustle, the music targets 140 to 150 BPM. That's designed to literally trigger the sympathetic nervous system and put you in a state for high-energy tasks. Makes perfect sense for a workout or a sales sprint. But what if the goal is deep absorption and belief restructuring, what they call super learning?
For that, they use tracks pitched significantly lower, around 60 to 80 BPM.
Which is much calmer.
Much calmer. That range aligns perfectly with the resting heart rate and is scientifically linked to inducing alpha brain waves, which operate between 8 and 12 hertz. The alpha state is ideal for suggestibility, visualization, and deep memory formation. You're essentially putting the brain in a meditative, highly receptive state.
All to absorb new programming. This focus on frequency brings us to the theoretical deep end. How identity is leveraged in this framework.
In NLP, identity is considered the highest logical level of change. If you can change who you fundamentally believe you are, everything else follows. The acronym POET itself serves as a constant anchor for this new identity.
And it evolved over time, right? It did. It started years ago in his artistic career, but it was redefined later while Poet Woods was incarcerated. It became an affirmative anchor, powerful, omnipotent for the limitless potential of the subconscious, e pluribus unum, integrating fragmented parts into one coherent self, and critically, T for tonality. The idea that the frequency, the how something is said, is just as important as the what.
And that emphasis on frequency, that introduces the most abstract layer of this, quantum coherence.
Yes. Okay, so this is the theoretical deep end. It gets into physics.
Okay.
The sources mention the Orch-Orr theory by Penrose and Hameroff, which suggests consciousness might originate in these subcellular structures called microtubules. Now, if that sounds complex, just think of it this way. The music is trying to act like a giant external tuning fork.
A tuning fork for the brain.
Exactly. The coherent vibration from the music is hypothesized to tune these internal resonances, promoting a state of quantum coherence in your neural network. A created flow state is essentially described as prolonged quantum coherence in this model. The music is the stabilizing wave.
And to enhance this, they also incorporate principles of biofield tuning. The sources mention the likely use of specific solfeggio frequencies, like 528 hertz or 432 hertz, these ancient musical scales.
The goal there is restoration. By exposing your system to these mathematically harmonious frequencies, the intent is to restore the organism to homeostasis, essentially smoothing out the physiological dissonance caused by the chronic stress of being an entrepreneur.
Okay, so we have the theory, the neurobiology, the identity anchor. Let's look at the practical prescriptions. How does this work in the real world? The methodology focuses on sonic goal setting, so specific tracks are engineered for specific objectives.
That's right.
Let's start with a track for a common entrepreneurial killer, stress and burnout. The track is called System Overload.
Okay, so the objective here is stress regulation. The track starts by intentionally mirroring the feeling of being overwhelmed. It matches the psychological chaos. This is key. It uses the ISO principle, starting chaotic and then gradually, through the lyrics and musical changes, it guides the listener's nervous system toward calm.
It also uses a psychological mechanism called effect labeling. The lyrics directly name the sensations of burnout. And by giving that feeling a label, research shows you instantly diminish the amygdala's response. You name the monster, it loses its power.
Exactly. It validates the struggle, which neutralizes the isolation that so many high achievers feel during periods of intense stress.
Okay, next, let's look at the pure execution track, IMAG. This one's for self-efficacy and status enhancement.
This is your high-status identity anchor. It's for when you need to switch into pure action mode.
And physiologically, this track goes right for the body. It operates at a high BPM, targeting that sympathetic nervous system drive we talked about. But it also uses those powerful sub-bass frequencies, specifically the 40 to 80 hertz range.
And those low rumbling frequencies trigger a genuine, measurable physiological change. Listening to sub-bass has been shown to trigger an acute power pose response in the body, increasing testosterone, reducing cortisol. You are literally being driven by sound to adopt a more confident, aggressive state. It's like an auditory shot of courage.
And finally, let's look at the track that represents the philosophical core of ETEC. You should believe. The objective here is bridging that gap from mere belief to fundamental knowing.
It's a profound shift. The song basically posits that belief is redundant once knowing is achieved. You don't believe the sun will rise tomorrow, you know it will, and that certainty eliminates doubt.
So how does the track deliver that certainty?
It uses social learning theory. The song presents 3 distinct characters who succeed in cultivating their belief into that unshakable knowing. By listening to these short stories in the song, the listener's mirror neurons fire as if they are experiencing that transformation themselves. It's vicarious success.
So your brain maps the resources, the conviction, the confidence from the character in the song and applies them directly to your own journey. You're getting a blueprint for certainty.
This prescriptive approach suggests a complete change in how we see music. It's not passive consumption, it's digital nutrition. In the ETEC model, a coach diagnoses the client's psychological bottleneck slump, doubt, fear, and then prescribes a playlist.
So if a client is suffering from crippling doubt, the prescription is the bridging track, you should believe. If they're stuck in procrastination, it's the high BPM I'm a G to trigger motor drive.
And this has implications way beyond individual coaching. It validates using edutainment in corporate training. The sources note that sung lyrics have shown up to 300% better retention than just spoken text. Plus, sharing these musical experiences creates social entanglement, which enhances team cohesion.
The synthesis is it's impelling. The ETEC methodology maps specific elements, tempo, frequency, vocal delivery to proven principles in neuroscience, psychology, and even quantum theory. It really confirms it as a robust technology of the mind designed for the entrepreneur.
The core message is clear. The entrepreneur is the biological hardware. Songs like You Should Believe and System Overload. They're the precise software code designed to create an optimized, resilient operating system capable of high-performance execution. It's all about unlocking that omnipotent potential inherent in the POET philosophy.
It's a powerful idea. And if the way something is said, the POET tonality and frequency, is as important as what is said, we want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. What dissonant, chaotic, or limiting frequencies are you currently exposing your subconscious to without even realizing it? Consider auditing your daily auditory environment to ensure your internal vibration is perfectly aligned with your highest strategic objectives.
The transmission ends here, but the construction project is just beginning. Now, I've told you to go get the blueprint, but you need to understand, I'm not just sending you there to download a PDF. I'm sending you to the armory. The blueprint is the central command station for an entrepreneur's mind. When you step inside, you aren't just getting scripts. You're getting access to the full scope of my agency's heavy artillery. The AI appointment bots to clone your sales team and book calls while you sleep. The interactive video engines that turn passive viewers into active buyers. The Dirty Dollars OS to automate your access acquisition. And even the legal architectures and biohacking fuel you need to protect and power your empire, and so much more. We have the tech, the strategy, the protection, and the protocol. It's all waiting for you behind one door. Go to anentrepreneursmind.com/blueprint. Stop playing with the pieces of the puzzle. Come get the whole picture. Initiate the protocol. I'll see you on the inside. Stay focused, and as always, straight ahead.